Thank you for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. It's a great day. We're ready to get the show on the road. It's always just goodness when we got good people coming through, music industry news, and of course, beats by yours truly. So, I'm excited to get it going. How about you, Breeze?
Yeah, it's a great day in the hood. It's a great day in the city. It's a great day in the air, wherever you are. And so I'm ready to get going too. And just sending out some positivity to everybody from Sea to Shining Sea and beyond, because today we really need it.
Yeah.
So let's go.
All right.
Introducing, ladies and gentlemen, over in the red corner with the red trunks, with the headphones and the mini microphone mixer with him. Introducing, coming straight to you from Flint, Michigan, the one and only Flint, Michigan, Mr. Shon Cobain.
Salutations. Happy to be here. I wish you guys could see over here. I'm doing my bravo. I got my fist going, ready to go. Ready for a great segment today.
Yeah, I guess I'll be the ring girl holding up the
Yeah, go ahead, get that card up.
Awesome. So yes, it's always great to have you in the virtual building with us. So, you know, we chat quite often. For the listeners who don't know, this was an organic friendship that just seemed to fit so well. And so yeah, we were talking about success, and you know, the fact that it's really, really important to determine what it means to you. So, you know, the hot topic of the day is determining success by your own standards.
And yeah, I couldn't agree more. Most people are chasing the standard that's given to us by, you know, society. It's not even our families. It's not even a close-knit group. It's just an opinion of a bunch of strangers who've told you things that they don't do. So I really believe like success for a lot of people is almost like a fantasy. They don't really see it as something that's real and something that's really attainable, because they look at it as an overall picture instead of breaking it down and recognizing and accepting the step-by-step successes that they've had in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, it fits all across the board, but especially for artists, you hear so many different things like, oh, well, if you don't have a record deal, or you ain't sold this many, you don't have this many streams and whatnot. And so, you know, if you don't know what it is that you're looking for, it's so easy to get dissuaded by those comments and things like that. So it's important for you to know what you want out of your career and what that's going to look like to you.
And that's true. And I'll be honest, it's great that you said that, because I've had artists who come up and I ask them questions and they have like no game plan, no sense of anything. It's just to them making it is getting a record deal. They don't even understand the fact that they can't rap over YouTube beats, and it's just a whole bunch of things that go into it. And at every level, you can be successful. You can be successful at the indie level. You can be successful neighborhood rapper. There's a lot that goes into that, but you just have to really recognize that and set goals for yourself, because you can't have success without goals. Mm-hmm. And if I set that, and none of my successes has anything to do with money anymore. You know, used to have this, okay, I need $100,000, or I need this and I need that. Well, the problem with that when you're chasing the number is always going to be elusive, because there's always going to be something else that comes up. It's always going to be that. So then I had to take that out of my mind and give that and set goals for myself. And it really made things feel like they were real. It made me feel like I was going in the right direction, instead of looking at, okay, say right now, my main goal as an indie record label was to get a distribution deal. And I'm getting all these opportunities to, you know, play, to host things, to go places. And I'm really blowing that off because I'm focusing on the one thing, like, man, my idea of success is if I get this, so I'm just waiting on that. Well, if people look at it, you're ignoring all the steps that could get you there. So all those other opportunities. So never be above your audience. Never be above anyone. Never be above your process, but definitely never be above your audience, but definitely never be above your process. I think it's one of the things that are most important. Some things are absolute. Some things are just suggestions. But the absolutes you absolutely have to follow. And then people don't understand why they don't make it, and they're not watching the people before them. If you listen to them, everyone respects the absolutes. Everyone who's successful anyway.
Well, look, you know, you talked about the audience. I got to chime in with this now. You know, we've been grinding here in this spot with this podcast, or, you know, radio show, as some would call it, for a minute now. You know, our audience is starting to grow. Okay, so There are people in Belgium, Taiwan, Netherlands, United Kingdom, Slovakia, Germany, Brazil, India, Ghana. Okay, and see those audiences are growing. So if someone's listening from those countries right now, okay, give them a snapshot before we go any further of who Shon Cobain is and what you represent in business and in many different industries, so they'll have a snapshot of who they're listening to.
Oh man, I don't want to run over segment time here going with that. No, it's that's it. Shon Cobain, 36-year-old black man. I am from Flint, Michigan, by way of Lansing, Michigan. I've relocated down to the DFW area, Texas. I'm the CEO of Lyrical Ambush Entertainment, as well as entities, but we want to focus on the music. We're an indie label. We specialize in getting up and coming rappers, pretty much if you've just been getting started or if you've been started for a while, get them up to snuff on the basics of business so they can understand the basic agreement to take their hobbies and monetize those. So it's almost like I'm a record label with the Robin Hood qualities, if that makes sense.
Love it.
Sure.
So, and aside from that, also, I'm glad you mentioned that too, because I do business solutions. So I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs a lot about their processes. And it depends. It could be a given thing and we could just have a conversation. If I have some knowledge or some experience with it, I've been able to help others with that as well. So I try not to paint myself into a box, because if I tell strangers that I own a record label, that tends to be the only conversation. So yeah. CEO, business solutionist. I'll be a mentor, mentee. And it's been a great process.
Yes, and you're very multi-dimensional.
Yeah, I try and keep. It's just natural. I try not to get involved with anything that I don't have a general or pure interest for, because it makes it feel like work and it feels like a task. And even mentally, even when you're at your sharpest, if you look at things like that, or if you take things that you don't enjoy doing, then that could be a problem. So a lot of these things are just common interest. I won't say that I have more interest than normal people. I'm just willing to tap into my interest more than a lot of people.
Okay.
And that's helpful for a well-rounded outlook.
Yeah, I can dig that. And so, just want to give another shout out to those countries that I mentioned just a minute ago and say welcome aboard. And so tell your friends, share our show, and you can grow as we grow. And so, All right, back to you, Shon. Floor is yours.
Okay, that's awesome too. And hello to all the UK followers. I got a few connections over there. UK, got Olivia. She has the Brown Sugar Awards. So she started an award show for Black and Brown people over there. It really started for Black women mainly, and it's more or less like the independent local scene for them to be recognized. So I have to get more details about her show exactly. And then it's also a young producer that I communicate with. We've been talking actually for about 2 or 3 years. He's over in the UK as well. I'm trying to work on actually doing a collaboration, but of course, the music, well, it's straightforward, but it's not. It's a little meticulous. People have to be on the same page. Of course, it's internationally, the streaming rules change a little bit, but I definitely, I can't believe, well, I can't say that. It's almost shocked me at the amount of attention that the music industry, more or less hip hop, has gotten from countries who I wouldn't expect. Like I've talked to producers from Denmark, and it's just remarkable that they're so in tune. And I'm talking about fast as well. Like one guy in particular was playing music from a certain region, and I just happened to be from that region, so I recognized right away. And it's so odd to me to know that I started with some of these people and they've already, I'm talking about 3 years, and amassed deals, or they've developed a sound enough to where it's bouncing around the country. And that's one of those things about it, technology, man, and finding success and getting yourselves on the right platforms, really marketing. What I found out about everything is, it doesn't matter how good you are at something, how great the product is, if you don't have a marketing and any kind of promotional concept, it's just going to fall by the wayside. And you could Instagram post your way all day. If that's not your thing, that's not your thing. You can hope that good work goes viral, but a lot of times that's not accident. When people find success, at a certain level, it's like, say for instance, go into a perfect example of that. Everyone wants people, when they post a music or post a link, you just hope at some point in their day, or if you caught them at the right moment, they like it, they go share it. And then they go from there and they just keep posting the same link. And they never wonder why, people never picks up. And it also becomes a thing where it's almost like you're begging. You have to give them incentive to come. So you have to don't be afraid to look at your peers and look at people who have engagement and figure out like, wow, what is it that they're doing that they're getting that engagement? And most of the time it happens when you're true to yourself. But you have to tell people who you are, and you have to tell them what you're offering, and then you have to tell them again. like literally all three things in any step. Mm-hmm. And that's one of those things, because people but you have to believe it, right? Because if you don't believe it, other people will. So you can't say, well, I'm the best rapper out of such and such, and nobody knows you. You can't say that. I'm the best singer this side of XYZ, and nobody knows you. Mm-hmm. Or the other part, that I've been in situations to where we're starting a promotional run and we get in contact with someone who's in the industry, big name, and we get their attention for a few seconds. They listen to the music and they're like, you know what, I like that. You got more, where's your press? Send me your press kit. And then we're sitting there like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, the press kit? So it was embarrassing, and it was a shell shock in the sense to really realize that, oh, it's that well put together. Because on the outside looking in, the entertainment looks so unorganized, but it's really the music business. Mm-hmm. And that's literally how they separate and really give the individual successes. So when you see people talking openly, like, the Russes, and such a gem, T-Pain gives a lot of information. And then shows like this, and then, you have Drink Champs. There's so many different outlets that let people know that they need to be aware, of what's going on around them. So many people have fallen by the wayside. And actually, at one point, I'll get into that T-Pain. You know how much music he gave away just based off of good vibes? Like, there's no such thing as good vibes. Sign deals with your friends in this business. And just simple deals, like a split sheet. That's a written agreement that holds up in court just in case your relationship goes sour with it. This negotiation was made when we were on good terms, and it'll eliminate a lot of animosity that we see more or less in hip hop than anything. Mm-hmm. But I don't think no other business has so much of a problem with how many beefs have occurred because someone was taken off a song or not included on a song. And it's just so wild how fragile the community can be sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, because they're just looking at, at their angle, and they don't really understand. And at the end of the day, it's a business. And not only that, it's a unionized business. And that's the part of the entertainment industry I never really hear people talk about. Like, it's unionized. You have to, the sound guys, engineers, the lighting people, you can receive a penalty for not using them on certain projects. So it's just one of those things. You talk about success, right? Mm-hmm. I go back to be a successful business owner or CEO in music. I have to know the little odd things that people didn't even know existed. Now, I don't know everything, but when you start to know more than the people that are in the same field, that kind of gives you an idea of where you're headed. So you kind of have to measure yourself, right? It's almost like a game a lot of times. When I meet people, it depends on where they are. I sit back, I observe, I see where they are. I watch their business, see how they're moving. And then that gives me an idea. You can tell by someone's power, someone's presence, of kind of where they're headed. And even if they aren't, I would never know because of how well they've conducted themselves and put their business together. So I can honestly say I've seen successful independent artists already because, you know, they like what they're doing. They like themselves, and it's organic. You know, those tend to be the ones that are having more fun out of the process. And those are the type of people that I found lately that I've been keeping myself around, and it helps keep me in my creative process.
And more gems as always.
You know, look, I try not to go because I was kind of all over the place there, but it all ties.
No, because see, you were identifying some true needs of artists, both successful as well as unsigned, where there are gaps in their chinks in the armor, where people need help, and people are looking for leadership in a lot of those areas, and they're looking for capabilities in a lot of those areas. And so, I mean, there are people right now who are waiting for you to give your contact information, because when this is over, they want to reach out to you. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate that. Say 2 ways to catch me. It's Lyrical Ambush ENT on Instagram, or Shon Cobain, which is typically the easiest, ShonCobain at Instagram as well.
Because, you know, from how you're laying things down, there could be messages waiting on you once this interview's over.
And that's awesome, because it's all about community. And I've heard this quote for years now, that your network determines your net worth. And I can't help but think about how many times in my career, it wasn't the amount of work that I did, it was the person that was in power dug what I was doing, you know, and that's literally it. I never changed anything. Just finally someone recognized, and that's really when I realized that, you know, the power of networking. This is years ago, back in, you know, I'm brushing shoulders in manufacturing every day. And I really had to use that kind of as a case study, really. And I just apply that to my life. I just apply my experiences to things in my life. And that's how I make certain tasks and certain things that are unfamiliar familiar. Because typically there's nothing in it. I'll give actually a sports analogy. I relate it to everything that's based off of everything that I learned in the foundation of sports. So talking flag football, I started that in 3rd grade. And I literally based my concept off of that. You know, how did I fit in the team? And, you know, how do I make people feel? And if I do my job, how does that affect X, Y, Z? And that was the very first time when I started in the workforce. And since then, I've just built that. And I've shaped down from football in a sense to my 15 years plus, I only count the adult years, with the corporate experience and corporate madness. And that's what really led me here. I just knew I didn't want to be a part of that cycle anymore. I'd rather help people than to be just pushing an agenda, or, you know, to satisfy whatever check they're cutting me or whatnot. I wanted to be proud and have pride in what I do. So that's one of the reasons why, because I didn't have a mentor with this music, man. I literally have to, you know, even now, it's like there's still stuff that I learned. Like, I'll consider you two, the friends that I meet along the way. It's more or less like a mentor process, because they get something from me, but I get something from you all, you know, as well. And I try to organically feed that, you know, back into it, because that keeps the relationship fruitful. So I feel like if we've had success together once, or if we've had traction together once, then it can happen again. And I just try and build on that.
Man. Well, our hats are off to you. You know, for everything that you're doing.
Yes.
Likewise, and I appreciate the both of you. I see good things coming for you on the horizon. I'm here for it.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you.
Likewise, it's like good to be appreciated, especially in this business.
Absolutely, man. I'm buckling up for the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait. All the time. I'm always here. I'm always near whenever you need. If you something on your mind, or someone backs out at the last minute. If I can't make it, something's up. But I definitely look forward to this every time.
Lyrical ambush, Shon Cobain, man, look this gentleman up. Wherever you can across the different social levels. Oh my God, man, you knocked that one out of the park.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
All right, and that's so fantastic. I mean, we've been blessed to come across some amazing people with so much wisdom to share, and their stories and experiences just make us richer for it. And I just love it. Like every time, it's just a treat.
It is, and we grow with each step. We grow with each show. Hey, that's a rhyme. We grow with each show. And so, kick a beat, man. Hey, we grow with the show. All right, so, but yeah, on a serious note, we're not here just lollygagging around. Okay, we're not here just to take up our time and somebody else's time. We're here to bring some knowledge and bring some great vibes. So I think we're doing a great job, and apparently the listeners do too.
Yes. And we thank you for rocking with us, most definitely. All right, we're going to take a beat break, and then we'll be back with music industry news right after this.
Okay.
Okay, and we're back with music industry news. First up, my goodness. Now, the news is in that the three major music companies now generate 2.5 million every hour and will generate more than 20 billion between them this year. How bananas is that?
That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. Now, the thing is what are they going to, what productive things are they going to do with that income, or are they just going to stack it?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. We got a couple of answers to that coming up a little bit later. But yeah, excellent question. So, combine the recorded music divisions of all three major labels, which, it's Universal, Sony, and Warner. So anytime we talk about the big three, it's them. So combine the recorded music divisions of each of them generated 4.63 billion just in the second quarter, which was a 40.1% increase from the same quarter in 2020. So if you add in global publishing revenues to the recorded music revenues at Universal, Sony, and Warner, they all generated 5.6 billion in the second quarter of 2021, which is up by 1.53 billion from the second quarter of 2020. So, I mean, it's just bananas. If you're looking at just growth alone, not talking about how much they made in total, but growth alone. So year over year. So the second quarter of 2021 compared to the second quarter of 2020, Universal grew $607 million. Sony grew $592 million, and Warner grew $331 million. Now, that 5.6 billion turnover equals $61 million per day made in the second quarter alone. So, all that money just coming in, like I said, 2.56 million every hour. Like it's insane. And just like you said, I hope that they invest it wisely. I hope that they're taking care of their artists and, actually doing what they're supposed to with that money. But just those figures, it's bananas. Don't let people tell you there's no money in music.
Okay. Now, got to say this. For the hip-hop artists out there on the street, for the lady hip-hop artists out there on the street, for the rapper on the street, for the lady rapper, rap girl on the street, don't think that you can just put your little toe in there and come out of there with some legit income. Before you put that toe in there, you got to be right. You got to be right. You got to have your socials right. You got to have your business stuff right. You got to have your rehearsing and so forth right. Okay, now, if you do those things plus many more factors, now you might be able to come out of there with some of that bag. Ain't that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, but don't go stepping up in there thinking that somebody owes you something, because guess what? You're in for a rude awakening, because they're not just sharing that stuff for free. They'll share it with you if you earn it. So word to the wise.
Yes, absolutely. And so, speaking of these moves and stuff that they're making, Universal Music Group, Vivendi sold a 7.1% stake of it to Pershing Square for $2.8 billion. So now, if you remember, last month we were telling you about the big deal that was supposed to come through that, fell through due to scrutiny from U.S. regulators. So now the hedge fund manager, he's a billionaire, William Ackman, the one who owns Pershing Square, still has the right to buy up to 2.9% more in UMG by September 9th. So if he can do that, that'll make good on his pledge to still buy, a big chunk of UMG after the deal had fell through. So, he had mentioned at the time, we reported that he was still going to try to find a way to make it happen. So I guess he's just going to be piecemealing it. But, he took steps towards making that happen. So even though it fell through and everybody was kind of stunned that it didn't work out, they're still forging ahead with that.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Forge ahead.
Yep. All right, and Sony Music joins a $30 million funding round for Maker's Place, which is an NFT startup. So according to Maker's Place, in 2021, their number of collectors that use the platform grew over 10 times, while they facilitated over $100 million in transactions. So they've been in business since 2018, but apparently, it's been a big year for them. Like, things have just been ramping up. And this is really the first time that we've seen a major label invest directly in an NFT startup, publicly at least, to make it known. A lot of them are kind of afraid to align themselves with one or another, but Sony's kind of breaking that mold a little bit and letting us know, like, all right, we believe in Maker's Place, so it's definitely something to keep an eye on if you're not familiar with them. But so this is the first time that we're seeing a public collaboration, if you will.
Well, it's just like, different platforms that you're on. A lot of people want to see, a lot of people want to verify for themselves that something is totally legitimate, and so they'll stand back and watch. Mm-hmm. They'll say, "You go first. No, you go first. No, you go first." But then, when the big guns come in and they go first, well, that raises some eyebrows, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you raise a good point. So now we might be reporting on more that are willing to do it now that Sony was able to go ahead and step up, or be that first domino falling over, if you will. So yeah, that's a great point. Mm-hmm. All right. And also, Sony Music Germany has acquired a stake in the children's entertainment brand called Tiger Media International. So according to the agreement, Sony's going to make its kids' content from the Europa label available on Tiger Media's Tigertone streaming service by September 1st of this year. So, they're already kind of, they acquired the stake. The mergers and acquisitions and all that stuff have been the name of the game so far for these last few months. So yeah, there's a little bit of what's going on with some of this money that they've been piling up. So, they're branching out into some other things. And I'd just like to point out, if you've never heard of Tigertone streaming service, that's one of the reasons why, we kind of remind you on here a little bit frequently to know that there are more platforms than Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, some of the other common ones that we're familiar with in North America. But I mean, there's so many more. So it's very, very important that you make sure that your distributor can get you to all the platforms all over the world, in all these various countries. There are a lot of emerging markets where streaming is, gaining steam. Like, maybe it had some, but it's still, adding new users constantly. So it's just something to keep in mind.
That's right, because for all of you unsigned artists and all of the unsigned artists, you might come up with a collaboration on your own in the studio and so on and so forth. And then when you put it out there, the folks right around your own hood, they may turn thumbs down. Okay. But see, across the water, in another country, in another city, another country, that might be gangbusters. Mm-hmm. And they might download everything you got. Okay, so be broad in that respect. Be broad.
Yes, that's an excellent point. All right, we're gonna you know what? Before we switch to a music break, Spotify is testing streaming plans that start at 99 cents a month. So obviously they're trying to, increase their users who actually pay. But considering that so many artists aren't getting what they feel that they deserve, and, possibly rightfully so, since artists get less than a penny per stream, if there's going to be plans that start at 99 cents a month, it kind of begs the question, how that's going to play out as far as payments to the artists. So currently Spotify offers multiple monthly plans. The student one is $4.99. You can get an individual for $9.99. A duo is $12.99, or a family plan for up to 6 accounts for $15.99. So now they're looking at bringing in an even lower tier, but maybe that will entice some of the free users to go ahead and do it. So, it's kind of one of those, is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? And hey, only time will tell.
Right. Only time will tell.
All right, we're going to take another beat break, and then we'll be back with round 2 of music industry news right after this.
Okay.
And we're back with round 2 of music industry news. And first up, Apple Music is allowing artists to be able to share milestones with fans. So, if you don't have your Apple Music for Artists account, you want to make sure that you get that set up. And, this is typically the type of information that will be available at the end of the year. But now you can share different little screenshots or photos or whatever of the new milestones you hit as you hit them. So, this includes like how many streams you've gotten, how many Shazams, how many fans and all that stuff. So it's kind of a cool way to keep you motivated and being able to share your process along your journey.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of that professionalism, and so you've got to reach down deep, or on the other hand, you may be one who just is oozing in professionalism. Either way, whether you are oozing or whether you're not, you got to reach down and grab yours, and so that you can discuss things. You are able to discuss things on a relatable level to folks from all kinds of backgrounds.
Yes. All right. And, this whole pandemic has wreaked havoc on live music, of course, and things are starting to come back and get back to normal. But now what we're starting to see, especially with this variant coming across, is that, some people are either canceling events or they're moving to this alternative. And so Live Nation is now allowing their artists, so the people who perform in their venues, they're allowed to either require vaccination for concert goers or a negative test. So according to a best practices document that was issued by the Live Nation CEO, Michael Rapino, he says that artists can require, either of those things, and effective October 4th, all the employees in the U.S. must be vaccinated to enter any of their events, venues, or offices. So, they've got limited exceptions for, I guess, people who need it, but this is a major move and trying to make sure that things can stay somewhat safe and we can still return somewhat to normal. So, I know that there's a lot of opinions out there, a lot of varying ones. And so, no matter how you feel about getting the vaccine or having to show proof, by doing this, they can make sure that they're not contributing to the spread, but still allowing people to go out and enjoy shows. So, they're doing it. Bonnaroo and Summerfest are doing the same thing. And a lot of local venues in various places are starting to do the same thing as well. So, whether or not you've heard about this or, regardless how you feel about it, if you want to participate in live music, it's looking like this trend is kind of starting to take root. So, if you don't want to get the vaccine, make sure that you're ready to get, the big tests and show that you don't have it. But yeah, it's looking like that's the route that a lot of these festivals and venues are taking to try to ensure safety as much as they can.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on with that, with the available options as well as the available choices. Mm-hmm. And so, we've entered into another dimension. Okay, so, for the folks that are thinking, well, hey, we want to do it like we always did, so that's probably obsolete. So get ready to make your choice,
right?
Because it's coming. So, hey, this is 2021, about to be 2022. This is not 2018 or 2015. So get with the program.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So, speaking of venues, nearly a fifth of U.S. venues that applied for the government funding have been rejected, and they don't know why. So, the venues, they weren't told. Instead, they were redirected to an eligibility matrix. And so, there was approximately $8 billion in the funding that was approved for distribution between over 10,400 independent music videos or venues. However, 3,000 were denied. And so, it kind of begs the question, like, well, what's going on over there? But then, their spokesperson said, well, we didn't have time to tell people why. It just would have slowed us down from getting people the money that actually earned it or deserved it, whatever that case may be. So, even though they're saying, oh, we didn't have time to tell you why, there's a lot of venues that have questions. One of the owners was a part of the Save Our Stages coalition, so he couldn't even figure out why, even though he was spearheading a cause so important, that his venue was rejected. So, it's been a whole process. In the beginning, we reported about all the trouble and stuff that they were having. So, it was weeks delayed from when people should have been able to, like, people couldn't apply the way they wanted to. There was faults in the software. It was just so much stuff going on. So, we're kind of far enough removed from that first time period to where it's about time for these venue owners to actually start getting answers. So, we understand being swamped but this is a crucial thing. There are so many places that have closed due to the pandemic and not getting the support that they needed financially. So, with this money being approved, I just saw, is it a meme recently that's saying, instead of, oh no, nothing's actually government funded, it's the people funded, people pay taxes, and that's where this money comes from. So to think that these people have kind of been paying into the system but still can't retrieve help, or at least find out why they were rejected, is just bananas. So hopefully some answers will be coming soon-ish, and once we find out more, of course, we'll let you know. All right, and Hypnosis has bought the rights to songs of Fleetwood Mac's Christine McVie. So I feel like at least a couple times a month we're talking about another catalog that Hypnosis Songs Fund has purchased, and now she's included in it. So they bought her 115 song portfolio for an undisclosed amount. So with these big hits, big names, these people with what they're calling evergreen songs. So they're just timeless. They don't lose their luster over the years. So with these big names that they're pulling in, even when they don't disclose the amount, it's for a lot of money. So congratulations for her joining the ranks, and it'll be really interesting to see the next move that Hypnosis Songs Fund makes. And just in case you weren't aware, they're actually trading. So if you're interested in investing, you might want to check them out. And check out their full catalog, because they're steadily ramping up. And these songs are songs that, will be around for a while and can be used in, various sync licensing opportunities. So definitely something to check out if you're interested in investing.
There you go. The I word makes its appearance.
Yep. Well, it's that one, the investing, acquisitions, and NFTs you'll hear about just about every week. So, yeah. All right, and that wraps it up for music industry news. We're going to take another quick beat break, and then we'll be back to close out the night with you.
Sounds good.
Okay, and that's a wrap for this week's edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. We thank you for hanging out with us and hope that you'll come back to do it again.
Yeah, it's going to be really royal when we're back, so, hey, we're here. We ain't going nowhere.
All right. So, all right, same time, same place. Tune in, tell a friend, and we'll see you then. Peace.